You don't need a new life. You need a new response. Because the strange truth is, this the same day can either break you or build you. And it all depends on one quiet choice you make when nobody is watching. Right now, you might be carrying something heavy, a setback, a delay, a rejection, a season that refuses to change. And you may be thinking, why does it always happen to me? But what if it's not happening to you? What if it's happening for you, not as a cliche, not as a poster quote, as a real principle that has survived wars, exile, poverty, power, illness, and loss? Stoicism. Not the cold, emotionless mask people imagine. Stoicism is a furnace. It doesn't remove your pain. It refines your power. So stay with me. Because by the end of this, you'll see your obstacles differently, not as walls, as weights. And weights don't block you. Weights train you. Here's the prediction gap. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you one sentence you can use in the moment your heart starts to race. The moment you feel insulted. The moment you feel behind. The moment you feel like quitting. One sentence. And if you actually use it, it changes how you live. But first, we need to start where all change starts. With the story you keep telling yourself. Most people don't suffer from the problem itself. They suffer from the meaning they assign to it. A message left unseen becomes a personal rejection. A failed attempt becomes proof you're not good enough. A slow season becomes a sign the world is against you. The Stoics would listen to those stories, and then they would ask something sharp. Is that true? Not. Does it feel true? Not does it sound convincing in your head at 2 a.m.? Is it true because your mind is a narrator, not a judge? And narrators exaggerate. They add drama. They add fear. They add finality. This is the end. This is who I am. This will never change. Stoicism teaches you to interrupt that narrator, not by forcing positivity, by practicing reality. Here's the first shift. Life is not responsible for your peace. You are. That might sound unfair at first, because it feels like peace should arrive when things improve, when you get the money, when you get the relationship, when you get the respect, when the chaos finally stops. But that's a trap, because it turns peace into a hostage. It says, I will be okay after the world behaves. Stoicism breaks that agreement. It says, the world can be loud, I can be steady. And that is not weakness, that is strength. Picture a sailor at sea. The sailor doesn't negotiate with the storm. He doesn't insult the waves. He doesn't beg the wind. He adjusts the sail. He focuses on what belongs to him. That is the core of Stoicism, the line that divides suffering from strength. What is within your control and what is not? Your effort is yours. Your attitude is yours. Your choices are yours. Your values are yours. Other people's opinions, not yours. The timing of events, not yours. The outcome of your hard work, not fully yours. So the Stoic doesn't waste energy wrestling ghosts. They don't argue with the uncontrollable. They build power in the only place power lives, the self. Now here's the problem. Most of us know this idea, but we don't live it. Because there's a moment where theory collapses. That moment is called the trigger. The instant something hits your ego, your fear, your insecurity. A comment, a rejection, a delay, a betrayal. And in that instant, you either react like your old self, or you respond like the person you're becoming. That moment decides everything. And that's why the Stoics trained. Not in the gym, in the mind. They practiced before the storm arrived. So when the storm came, they didn't panic. They moved. So let's build that training right now. I want you to imagine something. You wake up tomorrow and nothing changes. Same responsibilities, same bills, same challenges, same difficult person, same slow progress. And yet, you feel calm, not because you're numb, because you're clear. What would that clarity be made of? It would be made of one decision. You stop demanding life be easy, and you start demanding yourself be strong. Because comfort is not the goal. Virtue is. The Stoics didn't chase pleasure as the highest good. They chased character. And this is where modern people get confused. They think Stoicism is about suppressing emotion. It's not. It's about refusing to be ruled by emotion. There's a difference. A Stoic feels anger, but they don't hand anger the steering wheel. A Stoic feels fear, but they don't crown fear as king. A Stoic feels grief, but they don't let grief define the whole story. They feel and they choose. Now, let's talk about the question that changes the trajectory of a life. Why not most people carry a hidden sentence? I can't. And they don't even know they believe it. It shows up as delay, as excuses, as maybe later, as I'm not ready, as I'll start when it's perfect. But perfect is a myth. Perfect is a door that never opens. So the Stoic steps forward anyway. They ask, why not? Why not apply? Why not train? Why not start the channel? Why not write the script? Why not become disciplined? Why not become the kind of person you admire? This isn't reckless. This is sober courage. Because the Stoic doesn't wait for confidence. They build it. And they build it the same way you build muscle. By resistance, by repetition, by doing the hard thing while your mind begs you not to. Here's something you might not realize. Every time you choose the harder right over the easier wrong, you grow, quietly, invisibly, but powerfully. And that growth compounds. That's why there are people who seem unshakable. It's not genetics. It's not luck, it's practice. They have practiced choosing their response. So let's make it practical. The next time life throws you a problem, your mind will immediately ask, why is this happening? And that question can become a prison, because it often leads to blame, resentment, victimhood. The Stoic uses a different question. What is this asking from me? That question turns pain into instruction. That question turns setback into training. That question turns obstacle into a teacher. And yes, sometimes the lesson is uncomfortable. Sometimes the lesson is be patient. Sometimes it's be brave. Sometimes it's stop lying to yourself. Sometimes it's let go. Now this is where we introduce a Stoic idea that can rescue your mental health. Stop clinging to outcomes. Most anxiety is not about what you're doing today. It's about what you think must happen tomorrow. You can work hard and still fear failure. You can love sincerely and still fear abandonment. You can build something meaningful and still fear it won't be enough. Why? Because your mind is gripping the outcome like a rope, and the tighter you grip, the more you burn. Stoicism doesn't tell you to stop caring. It tells you to care correctly. Care about your effort. Care about your integrity. Care about your process. Let the outcome be what it is. Because outcomes include variables you don't control. Other people, timing, chance, the hidden moving parts of life. When you judge yourself by outcomes, you become unstable. One win makes you arrogant. One loss makes you collapse. But when you judge yourself by character, you become steady. You become someone who can win without being drunk on it, and lose without being destroyed by it. That steadiness is freedom, and freedom is rare. Now, let's talk about the mirror. You get what you are. Not always in a mystical, the universe will reward you way, in a practical way. If you are constantly cynical, you interpret everything through suspicion. If you are constantly fearful, you see danger everywhere. If you are constantly bitter, you create conflict even in peaceful places. But if you cultivate virtue, you create a different life. Not because life becomes perfect, because you become capable, and capability changes everything. A capable person doesn't need life to be easy. They can handle hard. That is the secret advantage. Now we go deeper. The obstacle is the way. That phrase is simple, but it has teeth. When you hit a wall, you have options. You can complain. You can quit. You can numb yourself. You can distract yourself. You can blame the world. Or you can ask the Stoic question: how can this make me better? Not, how can this make me comfortable? Not, how can this disappear better? Because better is always available. If you get rejected, you can sharpen your craft. If you get insulted, you can practice restraint. If you feel behind, you can practice discipline. If you fail, you can practice humility and persistence. The obstacle becomes the gym. And if you start living like that, something weird happens. Life stops feeling like a punishment. Life starts feeling like training. And training has meaning. Now here's a quiet truth. Many people don't actually fear failure. They fear effort, because effort demands consistency. Effort demands you show up when you don't feel like it. Effort exposes you. It forces you to see what you avoid. And that is why people drift. They scroll, they gossip, they overthink, they plan forever, but they don't execute. Stoicism is not a philosophy for spectators. It's for builders. It asks you to build yourself every day, even if it's small, especially if it's small. Do what little you can. That line might be the most underrated key to progress, because most people fail by aiming too big, too fast, too dramatic. They want a transformation overnight, so they start with intensity, and intensity is fragile. It burns bright, then it dies. Stoicism prefers something stronger than intensity: consistency. One small action done every day becomes a force of nature. A page written every day becomes a book. A workout done every day becomes a body. A boundary held every day becomes self-respect. A calm response practiced every day becomes peace. So, if you're overwhelmed, stop trying to win the whole war today. Win the next 5 minutes. Do what little you can, and then do it again. Now, we need to address something that ruins more lives than bad luck ever will. The addiction to being liked. Approval is a drug, and the withdrawal is brutal. But here's what's worse. When you chase approval, you trade your life for other people's moods. You become a puppet, and the world pulls the strings. Stoicism teaches you something sharp. If it's not within your control, it should not control you. Other people's opinions are not within your control. So why are you letting them run your life? This is hard because we're social creatures. We want belonging. We want love. We want respect. But Stoicism doesn't tell you to become isolated. It tells you to become anchored, to be the kind of person who can be misunderstood without panicking, who can be disliked without collapsing, who can be criticized without losing your direction. Because when you stop performing for the crowd, you finally hear your own values. And when you hear them, you can follow them. That is where real confidence is born. Not from praise, from alignment. Now, let's talk about the word that protects your time, your energy, and your life. No. A Stoic knows time is currency, and most people spend it like it's unlimited. They say yes to distractions, yes to drama, yes to obligations that drain them, yes to things that don't matter. Then they wonder why they feel exhausted, why their dreams don't move, why their life feels crowded but empty. Saying no is not selfish. It's sacred. It is you protecting your path. Because every yes is a trade. If you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Sometimes you're saying no to sleep, to health, to peace, to growth, to the work that could change your life. So, Stoicism teaches discernment. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everyone deserves your energy. Not every battle deserves your sword. Choose. Now we arrive at the most powerful Stoic practice for inner peace, letting go with indifference. This phrase is often misunderstood. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you stop suffering over what isn't yours to command. Imagine carrying a stone all day. That stone is what if. What if they leave? What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? What if it never works out? That stone gets heavier the more you squeeze it. The Stoic opens the hand. They say, I will do my part. The rest is not mine. That is the sentence I promised you earlier. Here it is again, clean and simple. I will do my part. The rest is not mine. Use it when you're anxious. Use it when you're angry. Use it when you're tempted to control people. Use it when you're tempted to spiral, because it returns you to power. Your part is where your power is. Now we need a twist, because there's a danger in Stoicism if you misunderstand it. The danger is using Stoicism as armor. Some people use it to avoid feeling, to avoid vulnerability, to avoid connection. They turn it into a cold mask. That is not Stoicism. That is fear wearing a philosophy. Real Stoicism is not rigid. It's strong and flexible. It lets you love deeply without clinging. It lets you work hard without obsessing. It lets you feel pain without becoming it. The Stoics were not trying to become stone. They were trying to become free. Free from compulsive reactions. Free from ego traps. Free from mental noise. Free from the tyranny of what if. So, if you ever catch yourself using Stoicism to shut down pause, Stoicism is meant to open you up to reality, not close you off from it, because reality is where life is. Now let's land this into a simple, daily rhythm you can actually live. When you wake up, don't reach for your phone first. Reach for your mind. Ask, what kind of person will I be today? Not what will you achieve. Not what will you get. Who will you be? Then anticipate difficulty, not in a pessimistic way, in a prepared way. Say, something will test me today, and I will be ready. Then choose one virtue, just one. Patience, courage, discipline, honesty, humility, kindness, and practice it like a craft. When your trigger shows up, don't react. Breathe, pause, say the sentence, I will do my part. The rest is not mine. Then act with your chosen virtue. And at night, review. Not to punish yourself, to sharpen yourself. So where did I act with virtue? Where did I abandon my values? What will I practice tomorrow? That's it. That's the training. And it will change you. Not in a week, but in a way that lasts. Because you are building something deeper than motivation. You are building identity. Now here's the open ending. Imagine two versions of you. One continues living the old way, reacting, overthinking, chasing approval, clinging to outcomes, avoiding discomfort. That version stays exhausted. Now imagine the other version, the Stoic version. Not perfect, but progressing. Calm in storms, focused on effort, unmoved by gossip, clear about values, able to say no, able to endure, able to grow. That version becomes dangerous in the best way. Not dangerous to others, dangerous to limitation. And here's the question that decides which version becomes real. When the next obstacle arrives, will you see it as a curse? Or will you finally recognize it as the training you asked life for without realizing you asked? Because maybe the greatest thing Stoicism gives you is this. The moment you stop begging life to change, life starts changing through you. And once that happens, you won't just survive the storm. You'll learn how to sail in it. And the next time you face a wall, you won't ask why me, you'll ask why not me. Because if challenges create strength, then your hardest days might be secretly crafting your strongest self. And that story isn't over yet.